Hi everybody. I do apologise for not doing this video before as promised. I have just I've had family here for a few days and just been so tired, So anyway, do it now, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a bit here and there, a few parts, telling you little bits of my experience and then going into what I think of what's going on at the minute at YouTube, which with certain people, which I'm not impressed about in any way, to put it mildly. So I think one thing to know about RAPE and the victim, the one who suffered that trauma, is there's no correct way of reacting to it for the person who suffered that. No correct way of reacting to it. You can shut things off completely and try to ignore them. You might go down the route of ranting and raving and, maybe having to go to your doctor and get some help via medication to help you sleep, to help you cope through the day. You might be lucky enough, as I was, to have the support of a husband and a loving family, although they didn't and don't, until this video, really know very much. So I'm putting things out there now simply because I think it's necessary for people to understand that DV and SA and RAPE certainly are not things to joke about. They are not things to make content of for YouTube for a period of over 12 months in order to garner more money for views, and for both her channel, Foodie Beauty, and his channel, ElShamy. This situation, these allegations have actually made both of their channels blow up with views and therefore money. Apparently 1 month she got $20,000, did she? And more another month, all because of this nonsense going on. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm not saying that the way she's trying to cope with it is wrong by reliving it. But if she wants to relive it, don't relive it on YouTube. That's not the normal thing to do. That's not, if there's any such thing as normal to do. Most people retreat into themselves after such a situation, particularly when being assaulted in such a way, assaulted with a broomstick. I mean, who would come on and talk to thousands of people about every little thing in the relationship, can talk about it on one hand, laugh about things on the other? That's it's strange to me. Okay, let's just say it. People who've been abused, they lose trust. They find it hard to trust. I know that I spoke to a therapist, but I would clam up. I couldn't discuss it properly. I've never discussed it properly, and I'm not going to discuss it properly on here, but I will tell you the basics of what I went through and how I reacted to it. There's a lot more in my upbringing that needs to be addressed. I believe that there's a lot of my upbringing that conditioned me to almost feel that I was deserving of, I don't know, being abused. I shouldn't have felt that way, because Al certainly gave me a lot of confidence and showed me how much he loved me. And I was living in a different country for a short time, comparatively short time. And in Riyadh and in Dhahran, and there was very little to do, very little to see, very few places to go. I ended up learning to square dance, to line dance, to love country and Western music. You know, we made our own entertainments. Went to the embassy all dressed up to the nines on a few occasions, the US embassy and the British embassy. But this situation was when a friend had been invited out to the airbase and she wanted to go. She had nobody who would go with her, who, you know, so she asked me, will you come? And I'd got ready, I just remembered it, I'd got ready to go square dancing, got my skirt on and everything. And one of the square dancing ladies came to the door, knocked on the door for me to pick me up, my apartment door. And I said, well, I think I'm going to go with Carrie to the airbase. And I could see she wasn't happy about it. Anyway, only the two of you going? I said, well, yeah, but it's only like there's a party going on, a birthday do, and it's not going to go on, you know, it's 8 o'clock then. We'll be back before midnight, which was when the curfew was. So off we went to the airbase. Carrie certainly had it in her mind. She was attracted to this one man. And, I mean, I was dancing, I was having a good time, I was talking to people, talking to her when I could get her attention, but she was focused on this one man. And it was coming up to about 11:15, and I said, Carrie, you know, we need to get a limo and get back because there was a curfew at 12. Shortly, she said, shortly, I'll say good night. 11:30 came, 11:50 came, too late. You know, it was getting on, it was too late. It took 10 minutes literally to get there, to get to our place from there. But, you know, with the religious police and the towers, we couldn't really risk being caught. So I was going to stay. I asked if I could stay then in the bar area of the, you know, they've got soft chairs, because what was I going to do? She'd gone by this time with this man back to his room. Such a friend she was. And one of the fellows who I'd been dancing with, he was a warrant officer in the US Army. Married, kids, showed the photos, you know, seemed a nice fellow. And he said, listen, come back to my room. No hanky-panky or anything. Just I'll make you a tea or a coffee and listen to some music. And you can have my bed or you can have the chair. But, you know, you can't stay out here. You don't know who's going to walk in. So I went back with him to his room. He made a coffee, we were chit-chatting. He put some music on. And I remember the music that was on at the time was, I'd never heard of before, was K.D. Lang. Is it K.D. Lang or K.C.? K.D. K.D. Lang. And she's got a beautiful voice. And that music was on. And all of a sudden, literally, all of a sudden, this man got me in a fireman's lift over his shoulder and carried me into the bedroom. Put me down on the bed. And I can't remember whether my dress was still on or what happened, but he did the RAP to me, even though I was saying no and trying to push him off. He was much too strong for me. He sort of got onto the side of the bed and went to sleep. Just went to sleep like that. After doing such a terrible thing. And I went into the bathroom, got into the shower and scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed myself. I went back and there was a bedroom and the lounge part, which was where we'd been. I went back and I stayed in the lounge part until such a time as I could get back to my place. And he drove me. And I said, do you realise what you've done? Do you even realise what you've done? And I was crying. And we were driving back up the sort of motorway part, and I tried to open the door and jump out. It would have killed me for sure. He pulled me back. And anyway, we got back to the compound and I showered again, I remember that. And I got on the phone. It was our weekend, you know, it was a day off. And I got on the phone to, yeah, it was a Friday because our days off were Friday. Was it Friday and Saturday? I think it was a Friday. So it was our day off anyway, so got to a reasonable hour and I picked up the phone and I found somebody I worked with, an older woman, a Canadian woman called Mary, and I phoned her and said, this man has assaulted me. And she came over. She came over armed with medicines and stuff in case I needed them, and told me to phone the doctor, and there was one doctor there who we all knew socially. And I phoned him and I said, I need to see you. He said, could he not wait until I'm back at work? You know, it's a day off. And I said, look, this has happened to me. And with that, he told me to come straight. He'd meet me at the surgery. He examined me and said that did an AIDS test and gave me some halcyon tablets to take. I did take too many on the night. I don't know what I was thinking. And he said, you're going to have to go home. You're going to have to fly home and have a pregnancy test. So, you know, when I went back into work, I just said, you know, I need to go home. A member of my family isn't well and I'm concerned. And so I got a flight home the following week to see my own doctor and have this pregnancy test. I did not tell anyone other than Mary, other than the doctor there. But what I did do is make the mistake of telephoning the girl, Carrie, who I went with, and I said, you left me. We went there together, we should have left together. Do you know what's happened to me? You left me. And I was screaming at her down the phone. Later on that day, I got a telephone call from, I don't know, Major somebody at the airbase to ask me the details of what had gone on. And apparently Carrie had phoned him to tell him. So I just, you know, I just told him the stuff. And I couldn't press charges there. How could I press charges in a Middle Eastern country, right? Like Riyadh or Dhahran. I won't tell you which one it was. But how could I press charges in that sort of a country with the situation there being as it was and as it is towards women? I'd have lost my job for sure. As it was, you know, I didn't stay very much longer. But I got back, when I got back, and I didn't go out for a few weeks. And then I started going square dancing it again. Didn't see Carrie, wouldn't bother with that. And then one night, got in the car, there was a few of us, and said, we've been invited to a do, not going to tell you where, it's going to be a surprise. So I thought the embassy, and I thought, I'm not really dressed for this. But anyway, it wasn't the embassy, it was the airbase. Oh, my heart. It dropped into my shoes. And we went in, and he was there, this warrant officer. He was there. And I felt his eyes on me. And some of the people there knew, obviously, how, you know, things get around, what had happened. Nobody I was with knew. And he came up to me and he said, come and dance with me. And I didn't want to make a fuss, I didn't want to make a thing. And I went and danced with him, I danced with him. I said, you know what you did to me? And he said, I can't apologise enough. I've got no excuses, I'm so sorry. He said, you won't be seeing me after this evening because I'm being transferred. So he was transferred back home, I suppose. That was his punishment. And I said, what you did was, you know, just a terrible thing. And finished the dance. And when I got home, I washed his stink off me again. So that's my story. I've never spoken about it openly like this. Alf knew. Other people around me will know about it now. My sisters didn't know, I didn't tell them. Nobody knew. Except Alf, me, and my therapist. What I'm trying to say is, whilst there are things that are commonplace, or everybody react in that everybody commonplace, whilst there are things whereby everybody reacts differently, you know, there is something that is fairly commonplace, I think, and that is the inability to talk about it, to laugh about it, to continue seeing the person, to buy them groceries, to give them money, to do their videos for them, to meet them and sleep with them in hotels. Something you don't do, no matter how many views you're going to get for it, and no matter how much money you're going to rake in. And I think what you've done and what you're doing, Foodie, shows you're not a beauty at all. Absolutely charmless. And as for him, a known perpetrator, somebody who's been jailed for actually a violent crime against two people. And he's got a platform now given to him by Foodie. And he's identified many people. And did you know that his mods have to sign a contract? What's in the contract? What do they say? What does it say? I agree to allow you. I agree not to pursue action if you. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? I'll come back. Okay, bye-bye.